Hi, my name is Kate, and this is my channel. It's called Reading in Pajamas because I like to read in my pajamas. um, I thought I would get started with this channel with the Booktube Newbie Tag. Um, First, I'll tell a little bit about myself. My name is Kate. I'm 37. I am an elementary school librarian. I love to read, have always loved to read. I come from a family of readers. Um, this is not actually my first YouTube channel. I have a craft YouTube channel, which you can check out if you want to. Link will be down below. It's called Kate's Crafting Corner, where I talk about cross stitch, knitting, crochet, very rarely quilting. It's been a couple years, but I do occasionally quilt. And oftentimes while I am crafting, I am listening to audiobooks. Also as a librarian, I just naturally love books. Although I don't really read what my kiddos at school are reading. But anyways, yeah, so I am sorry, I'm fixing my watch here. I'm an elementary school librarian and have been I put it too tight. And have been for 3 years now. My college degree is actually in accounting, so make of that what you will. I do have a bit of a cold, but I wanted to do this and strike while the iron was hot, the inspiration was high, and I also have plans to film another video pretty much immediately after this one. That will be posted later in the week, and that will include my 2026 plans and my January TBR. But I live in Northern California with my husband. We've been married for 6 years. We do not have children, almost 7 years. I'm unable to conceive, so we don't have children, and we do instead have a ton of Maltepoos. Um, that's why there's a chair over here, because they will sit there instead of on me sometimes. Oftentimes, they're also on me. And almost all of our dogs are named after characters from books. Um, so that is a little bit about me. Did I say I live in Northern California? We are in the Sacramento area. Anyways, so in this first video, I wanted to do the Booktube Newbie Tag, and then I also wanted to share my recent haul from the last couple weeks. I just thought that would be a fun way to start. I'll also talk about what book I'm currently reading. The majority of my book consumption is on audio. I listen to books probably at about 1.75 to 2 times speed. Occasionally, if it's an accent that's harder for me to understand, I'll knock it down to 1.5 times speed. But I found that increasing the speed forces my mind to focus on what's actually being read. In the past, when I would try to listen to things at regular speed, I just felt my mind drifting a lot. And oftentimes when I'm trying to physically read a book, I also find my mind drifting. So audio is just a great way for me to read books and also do the craft things that I love. So, yeah, that's just a little bit about me. Now let's start with the newbie tag. I was writing them down. I was watching another video and someone else doing this tag, and so I was writing down the questions. So I may not have gotten them 100% word for word. So we'll just go with the spirit that I think that they mean. Anyways, why did you start this channel? Well, I have had my craft channel for probably like 8 years or so. And I just found myself starting to talk about books a lot more, and I was like, maybe it would be good to have a separate channel for that. And yeah, and then I also at the start of this year, I was watching a lot of Booktube and I also at the end of last year and people's plans, and I entered a lot of challenges. And so I was like, you know what? This could be a fun way to encourage myself to read more, and then also just kind of track what I'm reading and have fun and, all that kind of good stuff. So that's why I started this channel. I asked my sisters, I'm the oldest of four girls, and they were really encouraging. And one of my sisters designed my logo for me. And so, yeah, it just kind of came about like that. What are some fun, question number 2, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? Well, I am a librarian, so that could be fun. I can take some of you guys behind the scenes and see part of how, like, libraries function and how you enter new books and things like that. I don't work in a public library. I work at an elementary school. So it's not all exactly the same, but there's some like I a lot of us like to use libraries, and libraries are great, obviously. And so I can offer that perspective, I think. And then I just I think we're all unique. We all bring our own kind of thing, and I hope that you'll enjoy. This is Sansa. I hope you'll enjoy what I can bring to the community. So yeah. Question number 3. What are you most excited about for this new channel? Honestly, to be able to talk about books, and also to do fun games like the TBR games I see other people do, and not just do it by myself, like be able to hopefully build a community and participate with other people and just have a place to track that and talk about it, because I think my family's tired of listening to me talk about um challenges and reading challenges and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm really excited about that. Why do you love Question number 4. Why do you love reading? I've just always loved reading, and my whole family has. We've always been readers. Um I remember from childhood, every night my mom would read us a chapter from a book, and reading's just always been a part of our family. We just love it. So, I don't know what else to say there. I love reading. Um, Question number 5. What book or series got you into reading? So I did bring some books for this question. Where do I want to put my little book? When I was little and my mom would read to us, she was my earliest memories are from her reading us a chapter from the Little House in the Prairie series. So here's Little House in the Big Woods. Excuse me. But every night my mom would read us a chapter, and we went through this whole series, and then we started on like her mother's series and some other like spin-off series like that. And that was just a huge part of the love of reading. And yeah. And then when I was a little bit older in the 8th grade, I had a boyfriend who I was very down on Harry Potter. Like I found the beginning of it very boring, and he was like, "You haven't even gotten to the good part. You need to keep reading it." And I swear that's the only good thing I got out of that relationship. Like, it was a bad relationship, but Harry Potter in the 8th grade just really took off for me, the love of reading. I went deep into the Harry Potter lore. sorry, in the worlds. At at the time, I was enrolled in a Harry Potter online school where we did classes, and mainly it was a community thing, but like it was a ton of fun. Like all the books hadn't even been released yet. I think maybe 4 or 5 were out at the time. I read a ton of Harry Potter fan fiction. I even wrote a little bit of Harry Potter fan fiction. Um, but Harry Potter, this series probably was one of the key things that brought me into a love, like a real deep love of reading, like diving into series and just obsessing about them, I guess. And um in case anyone's curious, I am that girl that was I didn't root for the uh standard tropes, I guess you would say, or pairings. I didn't ship the standard ships. Um, I loved fan fiction about Hermione and Snape, like when she was of age, of course, not as a student. Um, and then I love Draco and Ginny stories. I hate the character of Harry Potter himself. Like in my ideal version of the series, he died, and so did Voldemort. They both died. And yeah. um, so that got me back into it. And then probably like um 5, 6 years ago, I entered a really bad reading slump. Um, I'm not even sure I read more than 30 books a year, which I know for a lot of people that's pretty good. For me, that was really bad. And at the start of 2025, I read Fourth Wing for the first time by Rebecca Yarros, and that just reignited my love of reading and all things fantasy. That's when I started reading romance, and I never read romance before. No, sorry, our neighbor's dogs have come out. Now our dogs are barking. They hate each other with a passion. No, baby. Anyway. So, yeah, I yeah, that got me reading all things, and I started to find booktubes and um people on Facebook Reel. I don't have TikTok, but I do have Instagram and Facebook, and I would find people with recommendations and just got me into this whole world of books that, like, I didn't even know it existed, because before that, I'd read a lot of young adult, and so, I just didn't really know. I'm not a fan of literary fiction, and that was really my only knowledge of adult books, was, like, literary fiction, and I don't like it at all. That and fantasy. I'm a major Brandon Sanderson fangirl, love him and basically everything he's written, um, whether it's sci-fi or fantasy, I just love it, and so, um, my mom used to read, like, historical romance, like Regency romance, and that was really my only knowledge of the romance genre, and so until last year, I didn't know about much of any of it, and so, um, yeah, last year I read over 100 books, which was the first time in forever I had reached that number. This year I'm hoping for 156. That's 3 books a week. If I can make it further than that, I would love that. My ultimate dream one year is to reach 250 books. That's been my goal dream for like 20 years. Never made it close. Would love to. But yeah, so those are the 3 books that I thought best showed what got me into reading in the various phases of my life. Okay, Sansa, go over here. Question number 6. That was number 5. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? I would love to know how you record your computer screens and project it with yourself on it, because a lot of the channels I like to watch show them managing their Canvas sheets, and I don't know how to do that. So I will be filming, and instead what I'll do is I'll put images of my various Canvas sheets on top of what I'm filming. That's the only real way I know how to do that kind of thing. I would love to know how. That's what I would ask. I know that's not like probably like not the most standard answer for this question, but I don't know how to do it. In cross stitch, that's not really something we do on the floss tube. So I would like to know that. Number 7. What challenges starting a new booktube do you think you'll have to overcome? I mean, because I've been making YouTube videos for so long, I'm not really worried about like the awkwardness of talking to my phone by myself. Of course, with a new channel, there's always finding an audience, finding and breaking into a community and becoming welcomed and accepted. And that's always a challenge in, building up a channel. So that's, if no one follows me and I'm just talking to myself about books, that's fine. But I hope to grow a channel and have people comment and tell me what books I should be reading, and participate with me in TBR games and answer polls about what I should read next and all those kind of things. I realized that because I had insulated myself away from the book community, because of some things that had happened, um, I I wasn't aware of what was out and what was good and what people were reading. And so, um, because obviously these are not books that would ever belong in my elementary school library. So I could tell you about the newest upcoming Dogman or Diary of a Wimpy Kid. The dogs are barking. But I couldn't tell you about what romantasy was or what series I should be reading or things like that. And so I'm really hoping that growing a community here and watching more booktube and hopefully getting some followers, that I'll be able to stay informed and you guys will tell me what's good and what's not and what I should be reading. Hang on. Sorry about that. I'd hoped to get this done in one go and not have to have talked to the little monkeys about how loud they were being. Hey, Rosie Posy. This is Rosie Cotton from Lord of the Rings. We also have Samwise Gamgee. You're almost 5 now, Rose. Yeah, this is my little shadow. She follows me everywhere. I love you. Okay. Can you go over here? Okay. So continuing. Number 8. When did you start reading? I've always been reading. So that's basically my answer to that. Like, even my reading slumps are not complete breaks from reading. I'll still, like, on my worst years, I still got nearly 40 books. So that's still pretty good. So I've always been reading. Where do you read? Because I am an audio reader, um, everywhere. Like, I listen to books while reshelving in the library. I listen here in my craft room, probably most especially here in the craft room, while I'm doing crafts, like while I'm cross stitching or crocheting, I'll be listening to books. I will listen to books or sometimes dangerously read my Kindle while walking home from work. I live about a mile and a half from where I work, and I will walk home and I'll either be listening to a book or I will be reading on my Kindle, which is not the safest, but it is what it is. So basically everywhere. I don't have a reading chair really. Um, I've been looking at one. My husband and I are planning on moving in about a year and a half. Still here in California, still probably within a few miles. Um, but we're in a two-story right now, and my husband really would prefer a one-story, so we are looking to move. Um, and I am really hoping to get a reading chair when we move. And I've found a few that I really like and have showed him. And so we will look to get one of those. And when I eventually get one, I will share that with you. But I don't read in bed as much because I find I struggle to get comfortable reading in bed. So I'll read here in my chair. If I'm going to read a physical book, I I will sometimes read outside. Rose back again. And yeah, just while I'm making dinner, I'll have an audiobook going. I just while I'm cleaning. It's garbage night tonight. I will put on my headphones and listen to a book while taking out the garbage. Because it's also recycle night, which means I have to go collect all the recycling around the house, like the packages. Like I said, I have a gaggle of multi-poos, and they are very clingy. Anyways, okay. Number 10. What kind of books do you like to read? I like a variety of books. It's almost easier to say what I don't like. I don't like graphic novels. I know the kids at school love them. I just struggle with knowing whether to read the words or look at the picture first. It's very hard for me. So I don't really like graphic novels or anime, or manga. I don't know. I am not a big reader of nonfiction. And I don't like literary fiction. And I'm not a big horror fan. Um, I like and I don't like werewolves. I don't like to read books about werewolves. I just don't like werewolves. And one of my sisters and I were talking about this the other day, and we're thinking that this possibly goes back to Twilight and being Team Edward as opposed to Team Jacob, and I really hated Jacob and Team Jacob altogether, and that my hate of werewolves might actually stem from my dislike of Team Jacob from Twilight. But yeah, no, I have to read a werewolf book this month for one of my reading challenges, and I do not like werewolves. I just don't. But yeah, I like romance. I love fantasy. I love romantasy. I like science fiction. I like historical fiction. I love like Allison Ware's and Philippa Gregory, their Tudor era books. I love those. I like Regency era books. I like some classics, not all classics. What else is there? Oh, I love mystery and thriller. Like, I love psychological thrillers. And I like a cozy mystery. I didn't used to, but I find sometimes it's nice to have just that predictableness. So yeah, I like to read all over the place. Yeah. What? Oh no. Question number 11, the last one, is what does your book collection look like? This one is hard to answer because I have a pretty large Audible library. My physical books, well, the majority are actually in storage. From after I got married. I just haven't seen a point in getting them out and putting them up when we're going to move, especially because I will want new bookshelves in where we move. And so most of my physical books are in storage, but my newer acquisitions, some are on a bookshelf, some are in piles in the craft room, some are in piles in the hallway, to tell you the truth. I don't have a nice library to have sitting behind me. My bookshelves are not in a place that I could film in front of. Like, one's in the hallway and another one is in, we have a retreat off of our master bedroom, and but the bookshelves there aren't really any place I could set up in front of. So we're here in the craft room where where I actually spend the majority of my time, probably. So that is the last question in the Booktube Newbie Tag. If you have any questions, want to get to know me better, please leave them down below. I'd love to get to know you all better. And with that said, I wanted to share my most recent book hauls. I don't actually go to the bookstore very often, but this month I have. And so, yesterday, my husband took me we were going to run a bunch of errands. And so he took me to my favorite sandwich restaurant, and while we were exiting, I saw out the corner of my eye a bookshop, and that's not normally in that shopping center, and I was like, what is that? And so it is a bookstore that had only been open for 2 months, and this is the name, Old Haunts Bookshop in Granite Bay, California. If you are local in the area, you might want to check them out. It is super cute. It was really cute. And then, of course, because it was a new bookstore, I wanted to support the owner. So I bought a couple books, and I bought a literary tea. So this is Emily Dickinson's literary tea. And it has jasmine, rose petals, jasmine blossoms, marigold petal, and blue cornflower petals. And I'm going to make some of this. I just wanted to wait until after I'd filmed to go make a cup. It is loose leaf tea. They had a cart with some books that were on sale, so I purchased one from there. First Flight, Final Fall. And I'm not... I don't tend to go for a lot of sports romances. However, I am a major soccer fan. I love to watch soccer. And who do I support? The German national team and Bayern Munich, more specifically, but the German national team. Like, we're going to have the World Cup. And of course I will cheer for America because I am American. I'm also half South African, so I will cheer for South Africa. But my main team, like, is Germany. I love Germany, the soccer team. I've never actually been to the country. I have been supporting the German national team for about 16 years now. I love them so much. And this book is set in Germany. And it says, what do you do when you encounter the famous footballer voted sexiest athlete alive 3 years running on a soccer field in Germany? If you're Sailor Scott, you challenge him to a shootout and win. Sailor's goals have always involved the literal kind constructed from posts and netting. Her single-minded focus has cost her a lot, but it's also earned her recognition as the top female college player in the U.S. She doesn't get attached, she never gets distracted, and she couldn't care less what anyone thinks of her. Meeting Adler Beck, the notorious player celebrated and coveted worldwide, challenges her indifference. But Sailor perfected the art of appearing unbothered a long time ago, and her scoring percentage is even higher off the pitch. Might as well add a gorgeous German to the tally, because only a fool would fall for a superstar known for breaking hearts alongside records. And I love me a German soccer player. I'm just gonna say. So when I saw this one, it was $9 and it has pretty sprayed edges. I had to get it because, yeah, it's a lot of my favorite hobbies all connected into one. Then the second book I bought from them is The Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros. And this is a signed copy. And it's got these pretty sprayed edges. I have not read this book yet. I know it's a tearjerker. Look at this beautiful inside. That is just so gorgeous. I cannot wait to read this book. Yeah, so this is one I'm thinking about trying to actually read the physical book and not just listening. So those are the two I bought from them, and I definitely plan to go back there again. He told me that there's another Rebecca Yarros with the similar sprayed edges and the cover like this, coming out on Tuesday. The store is like 25 minutes from where I live, so it's not really close. And my husband and I share a car because I have a kind of fear of driving. Okay, I can make myself do it. It just takes a lot to make myself do it. So during the pandemic, when I hadn't driven my car for a year, we ended up deciding to sell it. So, and we haven't got a new one yet. It is in the plans, but we just haven't done it yet because, like I said, I don't like driving. So then after that, we ran some more errands, and then my husband was like, you know what's down the street? And he was not talking about Barnes & Nobles, but I said Barnes & Nobles. And so he took me there. And I bought these two books. It's been a while since I've bought some books based almost nothing on. Like, I have bought pretty books just because they're pretty. But, like, these two books, I love how they look. And back in college, I really loved the Private series by Kate Bryan, and this just made me kind of think of that. So it's set in a Scottish academy called Dunbridge Academy. And what I didn't realize till I had these home is that this author, Sarah Sprintz, is German. She actually completed her medical studies and then decided to write books. And so there are some more books, but they haven't been translated yet. And I don't think I've ever read books that were originally written in German. I've read some books that have been translated, obviously, but I think this is my first German one. So, and look at that. When you hold them together, it's like they flow into each other. So I'm wondering if book number 3 will continue with that kind of design detail. Anyways, so the first book, I'll just read the synopsis of the first book. He could be anywhere, but he's here with me. Emma didn't come to Scotland to fall in love. her exchange here at Dunbridge Academy has one purpose: finding clues about the father who abandoned her family. Enter Henry Bennington, gorgeous, charming, and unfortunately taken. He seems to be everywhere, in her advanced classes, during her morning runs, and at midnight parties. Just as happiness seems within reach, fate intervenes. Now Emma must choose between uncovering the truth about her past or fighting for a future with Henry, knowing either choice might break her heart. The other thing that was really nice about these is the inside. So this quote says, "We're kissing, Henry, I repeat, and don't want us ever to stop. These are different kisses from back then in the drizzle, up against the wall, slower kisses, still very perfect kisses." And then on the back side is this little cutie couple. And don't fall. The other one, which is called Anyone. The first one's called Anywhere. This one's called Anyone. And the quote inside is, "I love her like Romeo loves Juliet, in this totally cliched, unconditional way. Anything else would be a lie, and I've done enough lying in the last few years." I just think that's such a great line. And this is that cutie couple. Oh, there we go. So I am really excited about those two books. I also bought this is a different purchase, like a week ago. We Who Will Die by Stasia Stark. And look at these pretty sprayed edges. Kill or be killed. Focus. There we go. And the inside is a map. And I just really like that. And I've heard good things about this book. I haven't read it yet, but I've heard good things. And then I got Dungeon Crawler Carl. This is the hardback. It was $9 or $10 on Amazon. So I thought that was a pretty good deal for the price. One of the sales clerks at Barnes & Noble was really recommending this book to me, and she told me a little bit about what it was about, and it sounded so good. And it sounded funny. And so I almost bought the soft cover. It was set sale in Barnes & Noble, but then when I saw how cheap the hardback was, I went for that because I do prefer hardbacks. And the final book that I bought recently is The Defender, book number 2. I have not read The Striker yet, but it is soccer romance, and we've already talked about my love of soccer, so I went ahead and got it, hoping and assuming that I will like the first book. But that is my recent haul. I did want to share the book I am reading right now is Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. I have read both Binding and Keeping 13, and I love them so much. They're both like 6-star ratings. I love this one so much that it did actually put me in a book slump because I just couldn't fathom reading anything else after that, and I wasn't yet ready to move to the next story in the series. But I am ready now, so I wanted to go back and read them again. I do listen to these on audio, and it's a good thing because I cannot pronounce these Irish names. I just, even hearing them on audio, I can't figure out how to make my mouth say the names. Sorry, excuse me. Like her brother's girlfriend. Eophi. I don't know. I can't figure it out. But, so far this year, I have read 11 books, so this is book number 12. My TBR for this month was 27, so I am behind. I am behind. I do not anticipate being able to finish all 27. But I will talk about that on my next video. And I hope that you will tune in in return and join me for some reading. Let me know what you are reading right now, what you would recommend, and hope you have a fantastic reading day. Bye.